Alright, so this is a gold Genji who is actually plat or diamond in his healer account. And so he wants some advice on how to get his DPS account, specifically Genji, to that same level. Cool, cool. So why are you going off to duel a Reaper as Genji? Even if he didn't ult, that's just not your job, not the right target, super hard to hit for you. That's just not what's going on, or what should be going on here. There is proper targets for every single hero, and Reaper is pretty much the opposite of Genji's proper target. You're just go grab the mega. You have your dash. There's 2 megas you could easily get to. You could circle back around, or you could dash right in there. Do I not have... There we go. So yeah, so I mean, you can dash right in there behind the wall and get the mega and keep circling around back, so you should be just fine. Or you go right down these stairs over here to get that mega. So either way, you can very easily get a health pack. You have a Moira and a Mercy, and you're not playing the utility style of Genji where you're kind of staying with your team, so you should be expecting almost no healing from them. Cool, cool, cool. So why are we blading this? Even if you were worried about the cart, you were worried about your team, whatever, it's 5v2. If you've been kind of watching the kill feed and keeping track of where your enemies are. If you play at a diamond level on your other account, I would hopefully expect you to know that you should not pop an ult in a 5v2 situation. And again, you're going for the Reaper. Maybe you just didn't realize, and hopefully you'll realize now. Reaper is not your... Reaper is like Tracer to Genji's. Can you technically kill them? Can you put damage down on them? Can you put pressure on them? Yes. Is it ideal? And will you succeed most of the time? No. Most of the time you're just going to end up wasting your time. Let someone better suited deal with it. And the other thing I've kind of noticed is it used to be super common for every single Genji to play the flanking style of Genji. And if they weren't playing the flanking style of Genji, they were not playing to their full potential at a minimum. That's kind of changed with different metas and with the Nano Blade popularity and with Brig. Now it's super common for Genjis to play the utility style of Genji, where you play kind of around your tanks. You can very easily kind of protect your backline from most people that are pressuring them. You can deflect important cooldowns. You can, like, if that Orisa was low, like, you can dash through the shield to finish off the kill. But the utility style of Genji, where you're essentially protecting your team and farming Nano Blade, has become the way more successful style of Genji. You can still play the flanking Genji when you are going against certain team comps, or when you have trust in your skill, or even during certain times in the match, it might be good to flank. But you are flanking against a Moira, Brig, Roadhog, Reaper. Who are you gonna flank? None of them are you going to actually successfully flank. So I definitely like to see you more with your team here. Like, I don't understand where you're going right now. Like, think about all this time. Your team is pushing the cart or contested on the cart. The Roadhog's on the cart. You could literally just be farming him with your tanks still, but you're on some strange flank route that just now, about 30 seconds after you started it, got some value. I can't tell you how to play the game, but I wouldn't respond. It just tilts your teammates more. It doesn't help you win. If climbing and winning is your goal, don't respond to that. Or if they ask nice or whatever, switch to something else that you're comfortable on, that you know you can get value. There's no point in tilting your team if you're trying to climb. Cool, cool. So now imagine right there, and this is kind of more on the playing the utility style, if you had been with your team and you could have deflected at least a portion of that whole hog that got 3 kills. Whatever. I mean, it was a lost fight. You were staggered onto the payload anyway, just trying to contest. Alright, so a little bit of a strange place to hold, but and you have double shield, so no problem. So depending on what they're running, this is going to massively change the way you play. You can do one of two things. You can either play on like that high ground over there, which will let you spam down on them, and you still have your easy dash escape to escape this way. You can kind of stay on this high ground if they're getting a lot of ground right away and essentially do the exact same thing. What I am doing, if I'm in your case right now, is I'm keeping a watchful eye on this entire zone, and then as soon as it hit 15 seconds, so we're already a second or two late, I would have hit tab to see what they have. Because if they don't have that brig, if they don't have that hog, it changes the way that I can play as Genji. And depending on their comp, if they are like a bunker comp or something, I would realistically probably already have flanked over here. But we don't know that because we haven't hit tab, unfortunately. Cool, cool, cool. So did we see their comp here? Because there's almost no one that can threaten you. So why not take the high ground and pressure them? Zen, Ana, Arisa, Diva. Like right here, just stop running away. Duck in this room for a second if you need to, and then turn back around and farm the Zen. Stop going for this Reaper. Do you see why Reaper is just not Genji's ideal target? And you left like a good position to go 1v1 that Reaper. So you can see that you're the only person alive, and so at that point you have like two options. If you want to go for like the stagger and the Zen, that's okay, but I am glad that you just chose to die on the cart. It's the better move. You can farm a tiny bit of your ult on their tanks, you can stop the cart from being pushed for a second or two, and you don't waste any time on your personal death because they're not pushing the cart while you're still alive. Yikes. Okay. Gotta work on the blade control. That should have been much cleaner, even if you had to use your dashes or anything. That basically had to be cleaner. Go away from Baby Diva. What does it matter? What does Baby Diva matter when you literally have a Widow shooting at you and they're pushing the cart? In fact, all you did was give that Diva good spawn and her mech back. Gotta focus on some target focus stuff. Cool, cool. So there's an Ana and a Zen that you can see, and you have no clue what either of their cooldowns are, because you just haven't seen them. It's not a bad thing. Why would you not go for the Zen? It's just such an easier kill. Doesn't have a nade, doesn't have a sleep. Cool, cool. So definitely some stuff to work on in there. I would mostly work on making sure that you're playing the right style of Genji and making sure that you're playing where you should be, because you wasted so much time going for one-on-ones and going for flanks that didn't bring any value. And so just off of that, you could have probably got more value on another DPS if you were just in the fight. It's the same thing that like Sombras do when they put their translocator too far out of the fight, or when they spend too long flanking, too long repositioning. They essentially make it, at least part of the match, a 5v6 for their team, and they get run over. And just like this, like your team did get run over by the hog and stuff like that. This play of the game, I think, was a 3k when he ulted. Hog's ult generally is not a big ult that your team should have to worry about. But it turned into it because it was a 5v6, because you weren't there to deflect it. And so, honestly, just focus on spending more time with your team, or flanking if that's the right style, but it was not the right style this time. Focus on spending more time in the fight. Focus on getting more blades. The match was too long and you did not pop enough blades. Ideally, I mean, if you're playing at like an upper level, you want to be somewhere within the 2.5 minute mark on each blade. And so that was not even close to that. I believe you popped 4 the whole time, and I think 2 of them were popped when your team had already won the fight, and so that doesn't really help. And so definitely look at some of that, and then I'm sure you'll start to do better on this. Take some of your good tendencies that I'm sure you have on your diamond account, like playing with your team, like holding your ult for the right time, like not taking risky one-on-ones, and I'm sure that you'll start having a better time.